Hello all my friends and family. Welcome back to Building Zion. This is Marlene, and as I talked about in the last video that I just did, talking about all the things I've learned about cooking with food storage so far, lessons learned, that I'm going to be trying to make butter using non-fat dry milk. And this is from the Church of Jesus Christ Latter-day Saints cannery. So this can right here was actually, it's got a little date on here, it was made February 1st, 2003. So it is 19 years old. I was able to get a list of all of the items that the cannery has and when they are, how long they're good for. And it says that the milk that it comes in pouches now. It doesn't come in the cans anymore. The pouches were, they're good for 20 years. I don't know about the cans, if they were good for more or less, but we're just going to go by what it says for the pouches. So as far as we know, it's still good. So making this, I don't know if it's going to be possible to make butter using powdered milk. One is because it is a low-fat powdered milk and you have to have the fat to be able to do it. So what I'm going to do, the instructions for this say to use, add 1/3 cup of non-fat dry milk to 1 quart of warm water. So I'm going to double that to hopefully double the fat content, because the point is to kind of beat out the water in the, so maybe I'll just even use like 1/4 of the water, just enough to get it. Well, no, I don't even know what I'm doing. I'll use a full quart and I'll double the milk and we'll see if that works. And if it doesn't, I did find a place online that said if you add some kind of oil, like olive oil or some kind of other oil to it, then you can make the butter from it. And since olive oil is part of my food storage, then that would work. If you're trying to make something and it's not part of your food storage, then if you have to pull ingredients from your regular cabinet to make something from food storage food, then you need to start including that item in your food storage, because otherwise you won't be able to make it later. So let's go ahead. I'm going to go ahead and put the quart of water in this bowl right here. I got a plastic bowl because if you do like metal or glass, it's going to be really loud for a really long time, because I'm going to be using beaters. Now you can put things into a glass jar, put the lid on, and shake for an eternity. We used to do that when I was a kid. That's how my mom had us make homemade butter, which was a lot of fun, but it was a lot of work. And as this is something I don't know that it's going to work, I might be shaking the thing for an hour. We're gonna try beaters. So then 3/4 cup doubled is 1.5 cups. So I'm going to spoon 1.5 cups of this milk. So it's a heaping cup. There's a cup. So you know about me and cooking, I tend to like eyeball and be kind of loose about measurements sometimes, which a lot of times is fine, and sometimes gets me under trouble, but that's how I do it. Okay, so we're going to get our beaters going right here, and I'm going to be beating this right here, and I'm not going to leave the video running for the whole time that I'm beating this, because one, that would be really long and annoying, and two, it would just be loud and really long and annoying. So that's not what we're going to do. So I will get this going. I'll probably start it back up in a little bit, show you how it's coming, if we're making any progress, and then we'll go from there. So I'll see you in a second. Okay, so I have been beating this for about 2 minutes, and it's gotten And I can see it was gotten like super bubbly and frothy. Super cool. Almost looks like a meringue. Probably if I added an egg in there, yep, it would turn into a meringue. Yum. It was getting so bubbly and frothy that it was getting too much for the bowl, so I had to pour some of it off. I just poured some off into this jar, but there's still a lot in that jar. So I'm going to keep on beating this and see what happens, and I'll be back in a minute to update you. Okay, so I've been going at this for about 15 minutes now, and it's less, I don't know if you can see, it's still kind of making the peaks thing like a good meringue. It's starting to look more creamy though and less frothy. Like it's trying real hard to make a whipped cream. It's just not quite getting there. So I'm going to keep trying to mix it and see if it comes to that whipped cream point. It did keep growing though. And this right here was the bowl it was in. And this is the bowl I had to switch it to. Because I did fill up the whole jar and it just kept growing. So I probably could have done with just doing a half a quart of water and then the 3/4 cup of milk, so it's still doubling the milk. It would have just been a lot less. Wouldn't be exploding everywhere. So all right, I'm gonna pause this again and I'll be back in a few minutes. Okay, so I've been going at this for about 30 minutes now, and it is definitely thickening up a whole lot. You can see like how creamy it's looking. It's getting to where it's almost that clump. It's getting to where it's almost that that whipped cream consistency that you want it to be, but it's getting real creamy. It's even filling up the bowl even more, and so hopefully it starts turning into butter before it overpowers my bowl again. But you can definitely see that I only needed like about half of what I started with, because if I had continued with all of this, I would have like twice as much. I need a bowl like this big. So all right, I'm gonna keep plugging at it and I'll be back in a bit. All right, so I've been going at this for an hour now. And it's definitely at like whipped cream status. So that's nice, but there are a couple problems with it. So one, it still has, like when you take a taste of it, it still has this kind of like real airy, light airy taste, which maybe isn't necessarily bad, especially if you put the sugar in it and you have it on your food. It would still taste good. The other problem though is when I put it on my finger here, I don't know if you're going to be able to see it in the video, but it's just like it's starting to melt off of my finger and turn back into milk. So that means it doesn't have the, oh, there it goes. Yeah, it's just melting off. Oh, I'm turning back into milk. So that means it doesn't have the oomph consistency to, doesn't have enough of the fat in it in order to make it hold its consistency. And if I just left this bowl of whipped cream here, it would, after a while, it would start to get melted and it would just start to disintegrate. So I'm going to add in some of the olive oil, and I'm just going to do a tablespoon to start with, just to kind of see how that goes. And then I might up it to 2 or 3, depending. So I'm going to mix this for a little bit and then I'll let you know what happens. So I might have actually added too much olive oil. I don't know. Probably did, because sometimes I get a little overzealous. I think I added about 30 tablespoons. I don't know how many cups that is. But, so it's not whipped cream anymore. It's more like a a heavy cream. So this is what I'm gonna do. We're gonna scrap this batch, and I'm gonna start over using a smaller, we're gonna do like half a quart of water, and I'm going to quadruple the amount of milk, and then we'll start adding olive oil. Because this is too much milk, and I don't know if I added too much oil or if I need even more oil. That's a lot of oil. So yes, we're gonna scrap this, and I will be back with the new bowl of mixture. Okay, we're ready for take 2 of making butter from non-fat dry milk. It's not even low fat, it's non-fat. All right, so I'm just putting a half quart of water in this time instead of a full quart. And I'm putting 1.5 cups of the dry milk, which is 4 times the amount it asks for. And then I'm going to start with you know what? I'm going to measure it into my half cup here. So 1, 2, 3. Just wondering how many are half cup. 4, 5, 6, 7. Okay, it looks like about 8 tablespoons is a half a cup. I don't want to put that much in. 2, I'll do 4. There we go. Yes, I am guessing. Okay, so I'm going to start mixing this, and I will be back in a bit. Okay, I'm back. So with the olive oil added to the milk, the best I could get it to do is turn into a heavy cream. Someone suggested putting it in the freezer to get the oil to start to congeal more, but again, I just made a heavy cream. So this, I have one more thing I can think of to try. Okay. So I put this back in the freezer, and it's not like frozen on top, but the thicker part, the more oily part rose to the top. So I'm going to pull that off, and I'm going to put that in a separate bowl right here. It's almost like ice cream, actually. Maybe we can make ice cream like this. Okay, I'm going to pull this off, and then, because this part has more of the fat, then I'm going to try to mix that and see how it comes out. See, this part down here seems pretty thick too. All right, let's see what happens. All right, I'm gonna mix, and I'll be back in a minute to show you what happened. Okay, so I don't think that making butter is in our future for doing it in this method. It has made a very beautiful, rich cream though. It's like very thick. It's not melting on my finger. Very thick, very creamy cream. And I'd say even without any sugar or anything added to it, it tastes pretty good. I mean, other than the olive oil. It tastes pretty good. So we can say that we learned how to make a heavy cream out of out of our food storage milk. So anyways, I hope that maybe this was helpful in some way. Maybe you were wondering yourself, can I make butter for my food storage? I am curious if doing it in a bottle does something else to it that doing the mixer won't do. And if we did do it in a bottle, if it would end up working. But I will leave the comments open on this video, and if any of you have done anything with powdered milk before or have any ideas or comments about it, let me know. And otherwise, yay, we made heavy cream. Woohoo! We're done. All right. Well, hope you all have a good day, and I'll see you next time on whatever it is I decide to do next.